Good morning, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. We got kind of a windy day going on out here, but I just wanted to show you one of the next things I got to get going here and get in. I had this show up in the mail here yesterday, and I got this from one of the subscribers that's been just extremely helpful to me on this build. And I've had some people tell me I got to have this in here to keep the sticks from getting caught in there and blowing back and hitting the sawyer. And so yeah, I knew I had to have one, but this wasn't part of the whole sawmill. So anyway, kind of funny the way it showed up here, but no harm done. The wrapping that it was wrapped in came loose. So I got to get this set up here, and the first thing to do with it is I'm gonna set up and cut a log, and this might be a simplistic way to do it, and then I'll cut a board coming out here, because I have to know the exact height of that board, because down here you can see this roller. That board needs to rest on that roller so that the very back end of the board doesn't slip off or doesn't break off. The very last corner to be cut has been breaking off, and so with this roller going across here, it supposedly won't do that. So I got to get the height on it correct, which will mean doing some work on this here, because I'm sure the way this is, it's too high to that's something you don't see very often. Anyway, so this is what it looks like outside of the packaging. Anyway, I think I'm going to take it in and put it in the lathe and clean up that shaft. As usual for all of these old parts, been sitting around a while, takes quite a bit of cleanup work on them. So this is typical what I found here, what I thought I was going to find. All of this old stuff has been likely sitting out in the weather for years and years and not being moved. That shaft is a mess. So I'm going to see if I can get it cleaned up. So it turns out I wanted to spin this in the lathe, but it turns out my little lathe that I've got working is not big enough. So that's not going to work. I've got this big monster lathe here, but I've got to do something that's got a 3-phase motor in it, and I don't have 3-phase power here, so I haven't just had time. That'll be a winter project. Haven't had time to mess with this. So I'll probably just use this to hold it there, and just run some emery cloth back and forth here to get this cleaned up. Perfect. Like one more pass. Boy, I love having tools like this one. You can see what I'm doing here. There was a little bit of slop in the mounts on this, and I needed some spacers, and all I had was these washers that weren't big enough to go over that shaft, so I'm just making my own spacers here to take the slop out of that, because I don't want this disc to jump back and forth and maybe get stuck on the end of, have the end of the log hit it or something, or the cant hit it. Okay, I've got this together now with the spacers in there and everything tight. It shouldn't have any play this way anymore. What I need to do is shorten the length of this deck right here to have room in there for what I'm doing. Gonna have to get a handsaw to cut that one. Okay, I got it together here. I'm gonna fire things up and get that board out of the way and make sure everything lines up. Okay, I'll conclude this video right now. This piece seems to work just like it's supposed to. I milled the rest of that log and it worked perfectly. Anyway, another step forward. Thanks for watching.